Hello everyone. Today I am here to talk about my favorite show of 2021, Odd Taxi, the dark horse of the anime metagame. I enjoyed Odd Taxi a lot for its story and colorful cast of characters, and it excels in most categories that it presents. It's definitely a show that will really grip you and rip you in a staggeringly small 13 episodes. For reference, this is approximately 207 episodes less than the popular children's series Naruto. We are not here to talk about why the show is so good though, but to dive into the complexities tucked away in its beautifully crafted scenes. Contrary to popular belief, the taxi itself in Odd Taxi is not actually that strange, which raises an important question. Why is the show called Odd Taxi? Around the world today there are an estimated 18 taxi drivers. Our main character and the sole taxi driver of the series, Odokawa, is a walrus. He is commonly observed throughout the course of a show driving a taxi. He is paid for this service and it seems to be his only source of money. This is seemingly referred to as a job, but I am not familiar with the concept. He is not particularly wealthy in any shape or form, though unlike many other walruses around the world, he is not homeless. He lives in an apartment of moderate size. So how? How does a walrus living in a relatively large city live such a poor life? He is the only taxi driver we see throughout the series, and the only source of transportation for many who cannot afford a car or gas. How do they get from point A to point B without depending on him? It's simply impossible and the first strange occurrence many will think of while watching the show. But this alone does not constitute an odd taxi. It is simply an odd lack of other taxi drivers. So why is it that such a taxi is odd? To find out, we must look elsewhere. Is it the animals? Animals can't drive, especially not a walrus, you might be thinking. But you would be wrong. Animals are frequently found driving vehicles, such as in Oscar-winning films like Air Bud and Snoopy. It is not so unreasonable now, with this in mind, to infer that a walrus could also be able to drive. Once again, we must look somewhere else. It's important, though, to keep in mind during this that, while the CGI driving scenes are odd compared to the rest of the show, this is a design choice and does not reflect the heart of the taxi. The director's vision is not so narrow as to forget entirely to make the taxi odd. Many people are doubtful this far into the search for any oddity, but it is definitely there. They search and they search, but the taxi, it's just too normal. The pair of socks under your Christmas tree. Careful inspection, though, will reveal an important hint to this dilemma. In this scene of episode 6, a peculiar item can be seen in the allegedly odd taxi. What is this item, you must be asking? No, not what, but who. It is none other than a goblin in the back seat of the taxi. The mind begins to open and the brain begins to expand. We are entering the end game. The average human alive on today's planet will tell you that goblins are not real. That's what the 4% wants you to believe at least. This same fact holds true in the world of Odd Taxi. Most of the world's inhabitants do not believe in goblins, as they are too far-fetched to possibly exist. Now let's take a look at Odokawa, our walrusy friend. What does he believe? His knowledge goes beyond simple belief, as it is rooted in fact. He knows the goblins are real, and he can be seen talking to them in various moments throughout the series. He's a taxi driver by day and night, and a goblin transporter during the rest. With this crucial fact, the rest of the picture is slowly filled. The taxi is so odd because of the goblins it carries with it. In a world of animals, there are goblins right here. These goblins go unnoticed by the majority of the cast, despite appearing all throughout the vibrant world of Odd Taxi. Yet, in spite of the goblins being the only odd thing about the taxi, the show is called Odd Taxi. Why not Goblin Taxi? It is here that the director has his last laugh. The goblins are not real. never were real. Goblins don't exist. All of these goblins simply exist in Oda head, in a metaphorical sense. Goblins would never be able to fit in his head due to the presence of his brain. Walruses have very big brains because they are very smart, and goblins are similarly large. These two things do not combine very well. These carefully placed signs of goblins existing are actually meant to point to the truth, the real truth. The goblins and their manifestation are a statement about the inner self, the human soul. It is not the taxi that is odd, but the odd that is taxi instead, and we are the taxi. With such a shocking revelation, most audience members find themselves blown away. You are not alone. Neither walrus nor animal nor goblin nor taxi was ever odd at all. Director Baku Kinoshita, in his first ever work, has already managed to weave a compelling tale of good and evil, of Chip and Dale, of hero and villain. It is times like these that we need to take a moment and collect ourselves to process the information we've just consumed. Even after the taxi drives its final customer, the hustle and bustle of the city never ends. Thank you for watching.